Guys, we are going to discuss about NEET exam, the most important topic from the subject zoology. Guys, day after tomorrow, May 4th, there is an exam NEET. Okay, you have to quick revise these most important topics. Okay, from the zoology. Most important topic is the zoology's reproduction. Reproduction, guys, they can give you 3 to 5 questions, guys. 3 to 5 questions about reproduction and reproductive health. Okay, in the human physiology, they can ask you 18 to 22 guys questions. These range in the human physiology. Among that, they can ask you 3 to 5 questions from the reproductive chapter. So it is highly productive. Human physiology 50% weightage, 45 to 50% weightage. Human physiology. In the zoology, 45% weightage. In that reproductive chapter, they can ask you the 3 to 5 questions, guys. Okay, the key concept in the reproduction, what you have to focus this short term, the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Spermatogenesis and oogenesis. What are the stages in the division? Stages, either mitotic and meiotic. Stages where they can stop. Okay, from the haploid to diploid to haploid stage. Diploid to haploid stage, guys, they can ask you the questions spermatogenesis and oogenesis. They produce the gametes, okay, gametes which is sperm and ova. Okay, how they can produce, what are the stages in that, and menstrual cycle, this is the important, guys. Menstrual cycle is the most important. Menstrual cycle and the involvement of hormones, in the menstrual cycles. Mainly you have to focus hormones like hypothalamus, they can release gonadotropin releasing hormone, right, GnRH. This can be stored, they can release, and they can encourage the pituitary. Pituitary can release the hormones FSH, LH, prolactin, oxytocin. These kind of hormones they can ask you, guys, especially in the menstrual cycle. These hormones they can ask you. You have to be focused. They can ask you the match the following questions, or else they can ask you the direct hormone name. Okay, yes, and the hormonal control. What are the hormones they can involve in the spermatogenesis or oogenesis, or they can involve in the menstrual cycle, what their role. Okay, this is important, guys. This is the techniques, IVF and ART technology, like what is the birth rate, how they can control. Okay, this they can ask you most important topic in the human reproduction. In the human reproduction, guys, male reproduction, female reproduction is there. There is some parts in the male reproduction and female reproduction, they might ask you. This is the least priority. Male reproduction and female reproduction is the least priority, their parts, and there are primary sex organs, involvement of the ducts. Okay, these kind of questions they might not give you, especially in the reproduction chapter, hormones. Okay, hormones you have to focus, and there is a techniques. Okay, techniques, guys. Especially NEET loves asking the conceptual questions and factual questions. Conceptual and factual questions, guys. Conceptual questions, what is the implantation? Okay, what is the implantation? implantation is the conceptual question in this, okay, and the baby growth like embryonic development. Embryonic development. They can ask you factual questions. What are the cycle, menstrual cycle, what are the hormones, are the factual questions. The concept based questions, implantation and embryonic development, they can ask you. This is the concept, you must know the knowledge, deep analytical knowledge. Last year question, they can ask you ZP3 proteins, guys, ZP3 proteins. So, you have to understand this is how much concept. ZP3 protein, where it is located? There is a layer around the ova. This is the ova, ovary. Ovary, ova, nothing but it is the male, female gamete which is secondary oocyte under the follicle, secondary oocyte, surrounded by a layer called zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. Zona pellucida layer has certain receptors called ZP3 receptors, guys. Zona pellucida has some receptors called ZP3 receptors. ZP3 receptor. They can recognize human sperm. They can recognize human male gamete for the fertilization. They can only recognize human sperm. That is why human sperm only to ability to fertile the egg, fertile the ova. There is no other sperm they can ability, because of ZP3 receptors they can recognize only male, only human sperm. This is the conceptual question. This is the conceptual question, deep analysis, ZP3 receptors. That is previous year question. Guys, you have to read in depth in the chapter. Analytical ability you must know in this topic. You have to revise it very fastly. Okay? Yes. Come to the second slide. Reproductive health. Reproductive health, guys, 2 to 3 questions. Sorry, 1 to 2 questions will come. 1 to 2 questions. Make sure mostly 2 questions, guys. Reproductive health. Because of these days there is a challenge of population growth. Population growth. How to control the population. And this is the actually civic sense, like civics questions, like society, how they manipulated with the population. Population control methods, where the government has take steps, and there is certain methods or like control the populations, like reproductive methods, how the control in the reproduction system by the giving the birth of the baby. Like there are certain methods, vasectomy, tubectomy, there are some like artificial methods, surgical methods are there, how to control the population. And as well there are certain diseases, guys, diseases, transmitted diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, because of the reproduction is not only single animal, single human, they can give the birth. This is associated with another person. In that way, there is a transfer of diseases from person to person. So, control the population and transmitted diseases. What kind of diseases? Either bacteria, virus or fungal diseases. They can ask you these questions, guys. Most important, they can ask you 2 questions from this chapter. This is the important chapter, guys. Key concepts are in this. Contraceptive methods, how the population control. Contraceptive method, it is surgical method or artificial, like important, which is MTB, MTB, STD types, and infertility and take the termination. Infertility, if the incapable, where is no capacitization, if there is any no capacitization, production of sperm, how insemination, okay, there are certain methods, okay, for the fertile egg and for the fertile of ova and like with the sperm, with the male gametes, how it is fertile, there are certain methods, artificial methods are there guys. You have to focus the surgical methods and there is certain fertile methods and transmitted diseases guys, okay, diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, population control methods, these are the important in the chapter guys. Here that can ask you direct from NCERT, you have to read from the NCERT line to line for this chapter. They don't ask beyond the NCERT guys. For this chapter you can go for the NCERT only, okay. For this chapter there is no analytical ability, there is no deep analysis. They can ask you the direct questions guys, they can ask you direct questions in this topic, okay. Yes, next, neural control and coordination, next important topic. What is control, what is coordination? Neural control and coordination, yeah guys, there are different kind of neurons, they are exhibit, there is a sensory neurons and motor neurons. What is senses going on, what is spinal cord role, what is brain, forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, what are the different kind of roles in the different part of the brains, and what are the like conductional electrical signals and chemical signals, how they can conduct, okay. This is important for this chapter guys. Key concepts in the chapter: structure of neurons, unipolar structure, bipolar, multipolar, pseudo-unipolar, These are the major concept of the neuron, structure of neuron. And synapses, chemical synapses, chemical, electrical synapses, most important. Brain parts, this is the major area guys, brain parts and their functions, this is the major area. First priority is brain parts, brain parts guys, okay. Yeah, in this chapter, this is the third priority of the chapter in the most important topics. Structure of neuron and synapses, nerve impulses, brain parts and their functions, this is the most prioritable focused area in the chapter. Guys, they can ask you depolarization, repolarization, hyperpolarization, that is the conduction of nerve impulses. Conduction of nerve impulses. Conduction of nerve impulses also important in this topic, okay. I hope you guys understand. They can ask you match the following sometimes. Flowchart you have to remember guys, flowchart. The questions are common here, okay. You have to refer the previous year questions, what kind of questions they can ask you. They can ask you the neuron types and they can ask you the nerve conduction and impulses and brain different parts and their roles. That is forebrain as cerebral hemisphere or 4 lobes guys, occipital lobe, frontal lobe, parietal lobe, and there is like occipital, frontal, parietal and like temporal lobe. Guys, these 4 lobes and what are the role? Motor area is where, somatic area is where, okay. They can regulate motor area and somator area, somatosensory area is associated by association area. Okay. They can ask you where the intelligence emotional is for frontal lobe or parietal lobe. Emotional intelligence and IQ levels of the person is determined by frontal lobe. Occipital lobe is a sensory area, they are controlled the motor area by associated area, that is parietal area. Temporal area, if come to the hearing senses or temporal area, occipital area is visionary senses are there in the occipital area. They can ask you the brain different parts and their functions. Midbrain is what? Midbrain is corpora quadrigemina is what? And hindbrain is what? Pons and medullary roles and cerebellum. Cerebellum they can what they can coordinate. Okay, what is the balance? Okay, these kind of questions they can ask you, different parts and their functions in the match the following question they can ask you. Okay, yeah, I hope you understand. Next, guys, chemical coordination and integration. This is easy topic. This is easy topic, guys. Easy topic mean they can ask you direct questions. Direct question from hormones and their location, function. Okay, location means secretion, where they can produce location and their function. The hormones they can ask you direct questions, they can ask you mostly match the following. Match the following. They can ask you mostly match the following questions, guys. In this, key concepts in this topic, endocrine glands and hormones. What are the endocrine glands and hormones? Disorders are the most prioritable topic, guys. In this, disorders are the most prioritized disorders of the hormones. Okay, what is the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone? What are the disorders? If the hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, they can ask you. Okay, they can ask you the flight and fight responses. What kind of hormones? Okay, insulin and glucagon, adrenaline, non-adrenaline. Okay, epinephrine, non-epinephrine. Likewise, they can ask you, guys. Okay, yep. And feedback mechanism, hormonal mechanism. This is also important, but disorders is the most prioritable. Okay, this is the location and function of the hormone most prioritized. Okay, in this hormones chapter, hormones action, they can ask you the function, action nothing but function, and where they can locate it, gland they can produce, glands are the frequent asking questions, guys, from the chapter. Okay, frequent asking question is what? Hormone action mean location, the function and location, and the question of the frequent, previous, according to the previous year question we can analyze from the chapter, is the most important and most easiest question. You can take the time at least 10 seconds for this question enough. For the chemical coordination, it will be take only 10 seconds. Guys, time is also most important, that can be influenced in other questions. Okay, if you are crack within 10 seconds some easy topics, that will you can gain the time for the next questions. So there is a accuracy is going to take place where you feel tough, you can get more time for the accuracy. Okay, the productivity and as well accuracy is most important. You have to product with the limited time and you have to choose accuracy for the next time. Okay, take the most time for the accuracy and take the less time for the production, which is easy questions. So this is the easy chapter, guys. Okay, yeah. Next, locomotion and movement. Locomotion and movement mostly match the following questions. match the following questions or diagram based questions. Diagram based questions. So diagram based questions mean there are different kind of skeletals, okay, skeletal and muscles, okay, muscle contraction, what is motor unit, okay, where the skeletal muscle active. So these kind of questions you have to focus diagram based, diagram. They can give you cranium bones, what are the like sutures like white fibrous cartilage, immovable bones, or where in the cranium is immovable bone. So these kind of questions they can ask you guys. Key concept here, types of muscles and sliding filament theory, okay, yeah, sliding filament theory, sliding filament theory in the muscle, and disorders, arthritis, myasthenia gravis. Disorders also important, guys. Disorders in the chapter, guys, mostly they can ask you disorders. Disorders are diagrammatic. Disorders relevant to the muscle. This chapter you have to focus, revise the disorders and diagram based questions. Okay, this is diagram based questions and conceptual questions expected in this chapter, guys. Okay, I hope you understand. This is also easiest topic. This is also very easiest topic, guys. Next. Human health and disease. Human health and disease, guys. So in this topic, the key concept areas, this is also important, guys. Health and disease, they can ask you pathogens, either bacteria, virus and protozoa. Mostly protozoa is prioritable in the zoology. Okay? Yes. Immunity, innate immunity and acquired immunity, this is also important, guys. Vaccines, AIDS and cancer, this is also important. Human health and disease, always they can ask you 1-2 questions from this chapter. Okay, here too don't ignore, guys, this is the easiest topic. Mostly they can ask you that human health and disease, they can ask you like these drugs, guys, drugs, okay, like dopamine drugs, these are the drugs are there, right? Plant based drugs, plant based drugs, they can ask you, guys. Drugs they can ask you in the human health and disease. This is the social question, guys. There are like morphine and ganja, like these kind of drugs they can ask you, guys. This is the important questions in this human health and diseases. And protozoan diseases are tropical protozoan diseases are Ucheraria and ascariasis. These kind of plasmodium, these kind of questions they can make you, guys. And if come to the cancer and AIDS and vaccines, their vaccines, immunity, okay, immunity, acquired immunity, innate immunity, these kind of questions they can ask you, guys. Okay, 1-2 questions coming from the chapter, most important and very easy questions if you are go through once. Okay, don't forget, they can ask you match the following, match the following. They can ask you match the following questions, guys, in the chapter. So if you come across the match the following question in this topic, you have to focus it. Okay, this is important. Just in the quick revision, just focus on match the following, one side pathogens and one side their effects. Okay, yeah, and there is a drugs names and their source, plant based drugs and their plant names. Okay, there are in the book, guys, don't forget it. Okay, yeah, cancer also there is a chance to ask the cancer. Immunity especially, they can ask you what are the blood cells involved in the type of immunity. Okay, either it is acquired immunity or it is innate immunity. Okay, yeah, acquired immunity they can ask you the vaccines, innate immunity they can ask you what are the blood cells WBCs are involved in the immunity. Okay, yes. And if come to the body fluids and circulation, guys, if come to the body fluids and circulation, key concepts is blood groups, especially RH factor, RH factors, this is RH factors, and chemical nature of blood, types of blood cells, their role, their function, blood clotting factors, these kind of questions they can ask you guys, these kind of questions they can ask you. And double circulation, of course heart structure, ECG is the most important in this topic, ECG is the most important. Okay, the concept which is ECG is the most important in the body fluids and circulation, guys. Okay, match the pairs and sequence based questions are the common in this. Okay, ECG is the most important, guys. Okay, I hope you guys understand this. Next topic. Guys, in this topic actually you can go heart functions and structures of the heart. Okay, what are the valves involved in this? Okay, and what are the muscles like chordae tendineae? Okay, this kind of fibers. Okay, electrical impulses, SCA node they can ask you guys. Okay, where the electrical signals is source, SCA node role they can ask you guys. Yes, next. Yeah, next, excretory system and their products. Yeah, excretory system, guys. Yeah, excretory product and their elimination. Excretory product and their elimination. Key concept in this topic is nephron structure. Nephron structure, what are the cells like epithelial tissue, in the different part of nephron. Different part of nephron, involvement of epithelial tissue they can ask you guys. And there is a GFR, glomerular filtration rate, and mostly urine formation, guys. In the urine formation there is a osmolarity. Okay, osmolarity, okay, permeability of the nephron membranes, and vasa recta. Okay, that is like in the diffusion or active transport. Okay, absorption of the secretion, where they can absorb, where they can secrete. There is a loop of Henle which is a descending loop, ascending loop. Previous year question PYQ 2024, they did ask the descending Henle loop Henle loop, permeability, is it water or NaCl? They did ask. Descending loop of Henle is permeability of the water, impermeable to the NaCl because of osmolarity in the medullary interstitial fluid. Okay, guys, these kind of questions they can ask you, the osmolarity. And kidney disorders also most important, guys. If they want to make easy question, paper from this topic, they can ask you disorders directly. Kidney disorders, what are the glomerular damage, what is the nephron damage, okay, what are the hormones involved in the reabsorption, okay, that is RAS mechanism. They can ask you, okay, what is vasopressin. These kind of hormonal facultative reabsorption they can ask you, guys. You have to focus the disorders and hormones. This is also key in this. Yeah, NEET often tests the logical questions mean osmolarity is what, okay, where they can reabsorption, where they can secretion, okay, what are the role of epithelial tissue, and the location of the nephron also they did ask previous year. This is the concept thoda, okay, logic, okay, line to line you have to read from the NCERT, guys. Okay, in the urine formation they can ask you certain osmolarity analytical questions. Apart from that, everything is coming from the NCERT line to line, guys. Okay, yeah. Next question, next topic. Yeah, breathing and exchange of gases. Breathing and exchange of gases, guys. Okay. Yeah, guys, first priority is the respiratory volumes. Respiratory volume is the first priority. If they want a direct question, they can ask you this. And transport of gases is the next priority. Thoda difficulty, guys. This is thoda difficulty based, but it is important where the transport mechanism, oxygen transport or carbon dioxide transport, where the sources and where the destination to reach. Okay, guys, this kind of questions they can ask you bicarbonate and aldine effect and chloride shift, and they can make the questions. There is an enzyme, okay, reversible reaction of enzyme. What is the enzyme? They can ask you, okay, carbonic anhydrase. Like that questions they can ask you in that gases transport, guys. Okay, if they want to ask the Bohr effect and Haldane effect also, it is least priority, of course, but respiratory disorders also there. Respiratory disorders also there. This is also most important. Match the following they can ask you. And guys, apart from this respiratory disorder, regulation of respiration. Who regulated? Either bone or medulla. Okay, hand brain especially. Hand brain. Regulation of respiration, which is Pohn's parts and medullary part. Okay, what is the negative signals from the Pohn's and positive signals from the medulla? They can ask you the hand brain, how they can regulate the emergency of the respiration, guys, and especially they can ask you the disorders also. Okay, these are the prioritable concepts in this topic, guys. The numerical based questions from the respiratory volumes. Mostly questions from the respiratory volumes, either respiratory disorders. First priority respiratory volume, second priority is respiratory disorders, third priority is there is a regulation of respiratory system which is under the medulla or Pohn's, which is hand brain. Okay, they can ask you guys in the chapter. Next, guys, final step, what you can do in this exam time, it is the mostly smart work, guys, mostly smart work. There is 2 days to go. How your brain is controlled in your mind, okay? What is the smart work you have to do? Where is the average marks for the crack the NEET? You can cross with the single step. This is actually NEET, guys. You have to balance, you have to coordinate your intelligence, and where your middle cerebellum, which is coordinate, right? You have to state your spinal cord while you thinking in the exam, okay? Guys, you have to focus NCERT line to line this year, this 2 days, where actually you have to productive topics, maximize, you have to score it on that based on NCERT in the biology. Practice the previous year question for all these topics. Yeah, guys, already you done, but you have to like where you lack based on previous year questions, concepts, just revise it once, okay? And revise especially diagram and hormones. This time, of course, this is the easy time for you to revise diagrams, and there is like hormone charts, and like guys, this is the NEET World Institute. We can give you the best, okay, for the analytical ability of the questions, and practice the questions, and teaching methods. We have to teach the different way, okay? We can use mnemonics, mind maps and flow charts while teaching the NEET. Guys, always you have to contact NEET World further your needs. Guys, we will make you perfect for the exams to crack the NEET, okay? Thank you, guys. Guys, apart from these topics, animal kingdom is there, animal kingdom, animal diversity, ecology, okay, and evolution, biodiversity. These are the chapters are there, okay, but you have to focus that too also. I did give you only physiology, last revision topics, okay, for the last hours I am talking about. Biodiversity, there is a question, make sure questions, and ecology also there are questions, make sure questions. Evolution, 1 or 2 questions come, okay. You have to practice along with the first focused on this conceptual and focused on that, okay. Zoology give you 99% accuracy, guys, 99% accuracy, okay. I am here zoology teacher, give you best, okay. I can give you the best where you can attend 100% questions, guys. Thank you very much, all the best.